Hey, this is Irv Griffin. And, I've done a couple videos on the Steve Harvey segment they did with Briget Kelly and an old co-worker of mine, Maurielle Lue, and some other woman who I can't think of right now. Here is that whole segment in its entirety. I'll have my own commentary in this as well. Believe it or not, now that I've finally seen the whole thing, I still stand by what I said in the two previous videos, but there was at least one thing that I actually did agree with him on. Anyway, here's the segment.
I'm here with our panel, and they're ready to give you some straight talk. Today, we're tackling everything from parenting to love and relationships, and it's time right now for some straight talk. Well, I love this lady right here. She's a radio co-host for a buddy of mine on air with Ryan Seacrest, as well as the podcast host on 20 with Sissany and Mommy Moves. Please welcome a newcomer to the panel, Sissany. Up next, we got another newcomer. She's an Emmy Award-winning TV host and a morning news anchor at Fox 2 in Detroit. Please welcome Maurielle Lue. And I call her my homegirls because she used to do the news in Cleveland, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. And finally, she's a friend of mine. She's back. She's a Grammy-winning musician and television personality. Her album, Reality Bites, is now streaming. Please welcome back my buddy, Briget Kelly. All right, let's get started, ladies, with our first topic. It's a question from one of our viewers. Let's hear his question. We have a tape.
Hi, my name's Will, and I'm from Burbank, California. And one of the girls that I work with for a couple years now who sits on the same desk as me, I've actually had feelings for since I started with the company. I never really thought that she felt the same way about me, but we were out with a bunch of coworkers last weekend, and we actually ended up hooking up and making out after that night. Now I'm starting to think that I might be able to act a little bit on, how I've been feeling for the last couple of years. I'm a little nervous because I do work with her and I see her every single day and we sit right next to each other. So I don't know, should I go for it?
That is, what's the saying? Don't dip your pen in the company ink. Is that what it is, right? Look, I know many people who have hooked up at work and ended up getting married, and they're very happy. I also know people that hooked up at work and then it was super awkward. So I think you have to have, you have to know what the consequences are gonna be. Yeah. I say, pass.
I don't know. I'm waiting. Maurielle, what you think?
Say, go for it. Listen, the pickings are slim.
The pickings are slim.
Real slim. You already like this girl.
Right.
Very clearly. You made the video, so you can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Oh, that's...
And you could be fired anytime for any reason anyway. Then you don't have a job and you're still lonely. Get the girl. Yeah.
My issue would be to have a conversation with her first about, because my thing is you work with the girl and y'all made out last weekend, so you sit next to her every day and no one tapped the other person like, hey, so you want to talk about this?
It's already awkward.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's already awkward. Like, have a conversation. I would have a conversation with her first and gauge where she's at with it before just being like, blatantly ask her out on a date. I mean, I think, I agree with both of you guys. I think, on some level, YOLO. Like, go for it. You like the girl. But there is also the risk of if you decide you want to go there with her and she turns around and she happens to be crazy, then you know.
Okay, now, you got to go for it.
Right.
She could be the one. You've been sitting there for 2 years feeling this girl.
Yes.
Let me explain something to you. The longer it takes for a guy to get over the fence, the longer he stays when he gets there.
But what if she's not feeling it? What if, that was just a drunken night and she wants to forget about it?
But that's why they had to have a conversation.
Well, we
talk
need
about
to
it.
find out. Okay, let me ask you ladies something. Have you ever dated someone you worked with?
Yes.
And how did it work out?
They no longer work there.
Well.
You need a longer couch so I can lay down. And
Right, I was gonna say,
it's a
but
much
we
longer
need
day.
something other than water in this cup for that conversation.
It's awkward. Look, the
It is awkward.
beginning's fun. You're sneaking around, nobody knows. And then it gets dragged out, and then it doesn't work out, and then you still have to see them every day.
He sits next to this girl 5 out of 7 days a week. He's with her all the time. It's really hard when you're in that close proximity for that amount of time to not, you know what I mean? To not get to know a person. And if you like a person, then that's even, that snowballs into you really liking them because you're with them all the time. So you develop a rapport and a relationship with them.
But
so,
also,
I mean,
if
it's
you're
hard.
in the same industry
Right,
as that
yeah.
person, you have more in common with them. I mean, when I come
Right.
home and I'm telling my man, guess what she did at work? I don't want to start the story over and have to explain who she is. I
No,
need you to
it's
already
fun.
know so we can talk about
You
people
got
together.
to go for it. Y'all
Yeah.
tripping. If you feeling somebody, you should go for it. That job you got, it's a job. It ain't a career. If your job don't pay that much money, so you gonna miss out on. No, listen to me.
You don't
No,
know.
really. It's another.
afraid of the rejection,
whatever money you
Right,
making on that
he's
job.
afraid of the
rejection.
rejection. That's why I said have a conversation with the girl.
scared.
Because if if
That's
he
how you
goes
know he
full
really
throttle,
likes her.
then
Scared man can't win.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
That's good. You got us there.
Hey, look, we got to take a break. We got more Straight Talk when we come back. Don't go away, y'all. All right, everybody, we're back with today's Straight Talk panel. Sissany, Maurielle Lue, and my girl, Briget Kelly. All right, now, according to a recent survey, 1 in 5 people under 35 are looking for the one, okay? So the myth of the one means that your partner should fulfill all aspects of your life: social, emotional, intellectual, sexual, and practical. But this method of thinking leads women to dismissing a relationship if their partner doesn't check off all their boxes instead of enjoying the connection. So here's a question that I'm posing to the panel right now. In this day and age, with so many ways to meet people, is there more than one person out there for everyone?
I feel like men and women do that though, right? We have this long list of things that we're attached to that we want to see in our partner, and then gradually the older we get or the more experience we have, we kind of like knock some of the things off the list. Like, all right, this isn't that important. Like certain things, I mean, your priorities change. What you want and what you need changes over the years, and I think, as an adult, you figure out what things are non-negotiable and what things aren't. And I don't think it necessarily just applies to women. I actually tend to think nowadays women lower our standards more so than try to then wait for the right person. I know a lot more women that settle because they're afraid of, the biological clock ticking, or, they figure they've been in a relationship for a long time, and even if the love is gone, they still stick it out and feel like they should wait until, the person proposes, which I don't think there's one person for anybody. I think there's always more than one person, but I think it's a matter of figuring out, what you really need in your life, what you need from a partner.
Okay.
I agree. I mean, I think obviously with the divorce rate, there is more than one person for somebody.
Right.
For me, for example, I've been with my husband for almost 10 years, and when we met,
Amazing.
we were,
We clap for that, because that's great.
married for almost 5, but together for 10. And when we met, he was 23 years old. I had that laundry list of what I wanted in a man, and he checked a few of the boxes. But if I would have thrown him away or, moved on, then we obviously wouldn't be where we're at now. We just had twins. Like, I am so in love with my husband even more now. And just seeing him as a father, that now he checks off boxes that I didn't even know I wanted checked off.
Right.
Yes, that's great.
I'm a little different, ladies. I'll tell you why. I think there is only one for each person. And I'm gonna tell you why. Now, some people can come in your life just for a season, and it's okay. But if a person is no longer in your life for any reason other than death, then they wasn't the one. And so, having lived the life I've lived, I have come to the realization that there's really only one. Now, when I was younger, I made, like you say, different decisions based on different things. Well, I didn't have it together, so I made untogether decisions. So it resulted in some not being together results.
Right.
It didn't make that person a bad person, I just wasn't the one for them. And so it's led me to think that there's only one right person, one perfect person for everybody. And then that's not gonna be perfect. So these lists that you have, these unforgiving lists, you can throw them away, because even if you make a list of what you want in a man and you make a list of what you will not accept in a man, no man is gonna check all the blocks.
Right.
Steve, I will say this. You've said many things, but there's one thing that really stuck with me, and it's one of those things that you don't even know could happen until it hits you, and then you're like, man, that's what he meant. That a man who's really interested in you will not leave a date without making another date. And when I found that, I'm like, okay, he's serious about something.
Yeah, you're not gonna, look, dudes, we're hunters. When we done found the one, we're not letting you get away.
Right.
We don't care what you say. You're not interested, that's cool, ain't no problem. You'll get interested. We're not finished selling yet. Every woman in here has had a man in your life that you wished would go away. And he didn't.
Ever.
Right. No matter what you said, no matter how many times.
Maurielle Lue, thank you for coming. Briget Kelly, that's my girl, and I love her and Ryan.
Hey, you just watched those segments, and let me say this. I can't totally disagree with everything Steve Harvey said, because some of his stuff was on point. But there is a couple of points that I'm going to take issue with. The first one about dating in the workplace. I'm not a fan of it, personally. I'm not a fan of it. I personally think it's too risky. But I will say this. If she's really feeling you and you're really feeling her, and y'all on the same page and y'all try to talk about it, tread carefully, try to set some boundaries when you're at work, then I say go for it. Then go for it. But if you're just doing it, just trying to boink every woman in the office, I'm talking to you guys, or even some of you women that are trying to screw every dude, especially if they got a position. I'm talking about job positions now. Especially if they got a position in power. If you're trying to do that, then you're playing Russian roulette. I personally not a fan of it. And the one thing Steve said that I take issue with is when he said, man, this could be the love of your life. You know, the job is just a job. Yeah, so says the bald-headed magic mustache man who has multi-millions of dollars in your bank account. Okay? No. Most of us mortal men can't do that. Most of us mortal dudes cannot do that. So no, it's not worth risking your job. But if it's that situation to where you both on the same page and you both are heading in the same direction, then go for it, but I would do it very, very carefully. And the other point, what I already think of this. To me, that's almost a stalkerish type of vibe when you, and I've said this in the other two videos, and I'm repeating it again. Guys, there are too many women out here to choose from for you to settle on one. If she says no, move on. It's that simple. She says no, move on. No woman is worth going to jail over. Or, at minimum, worth her getting her big brother or her daddy, and, excuse my language, and you end up getting your ass whooped. She is not worth it. It ain't worth it. She says no, move on. There are more women than men in this world. Science backs me up on that. For every woman that says no, there's 13 or 14 possible women that will say yes. And sometimes you end up with a better deal than the woman that you was chasing. She might look better. She might be smarter. Might have more going for her than the one you was chasing. Might be, I'm going to be PG rated. Might be better in bed. might cook better, might work with you better. But you'll miss out on her being focused on that one that doesn't want to give you the time of day. So that whole, once we lock in on you, that you could do, yeah, there's something you could do. You could take her no seriously and move on to the next one, who may say yes to you. That's how you solve that. Anyway, what do you guys think? I'm out. This is my last video on this, but to be fair, I want to put it up so you can see what was said. Anyway, I'm out.